Welcome back to SatoshiConomy, honest global crypto news and info, where the message is more important than the messenger. Where to from here? That's what is the title for today. And what I mean is there are a lot of signals in the economy that give clear direction for where we're going. And what I'm going to discuss some of those signals. There are so many different ways that we can get our information. I want to touch base on, I always introduce all my videos saying honest global crypto. Well, what makes me honest? And I just want to assure you, I want to promise you, I'm one of you. And what I mean by that is I'm a father and a grandfather, and I just am trying to, what I intend to do is just to teach my children how to teach their children. And I happen to have a passion for global economics, and I do all this research to just try to find out how best to make the best choices for myself, and then I share that information. And I promise to you that I'm not some clandestine operative of some three-letter organization. I'm not a scam artist. I don't have a hidden agenda. I actually don't do any sponsorships. I don't do any affiliate marketing. And what I do is just try to provide a value to you in the fundamental source being honesty. And that's my promise to you. And I'm going to start making that disclaimer in the front of all of my videos. But what we're going to talk about today is where to from here. And the clear direction is for more independence in the economy, specifically in currencies. I promote and I discuss and I research Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies because from the get-go, when I first found out about it, I just went down the rabbit hole and found that it truly is a transformative technology. What I mean by that is it helps people from so many different walks of life. There's just so many reasons why it helps people that it really transcends a lot of different use cases all at once, and it derives a lot of value from that. It's the most sound money in the history of mankind. It's the first time in history where we have the decentralization of power of money. And it achieves that through the design that it has that is decentralized in nature, meaning there's no CEO, there's no brick and mortar building, there's no office, there's no way it can be shut down. It resides on the internet. Well, if they flip the switch on the internet, well, your dollar is going to be a tough thing to be working with also. There's actually even ways now that have been developed and continue to be developed through Blockstream.info, I think it is. I'm not sure. You have to double check. I'll put it in the show notes, whether it's blockstream.com or blockstream.org or whatever it is, where the internet and the cryptocurrencies can be used via satellites instead of, in other words, they'll be able to be used to some degree in a developing degree, even without the internet. But and there's so many different use cases that are becoming more viable, but about 99% of them are scams, really. There are almost 3,000, or there's over 3,000 today. Within a year or two, there'll be 5,000. There'll be 10,000, maybe even 100,000 different cryptocurrencies. 5 or 10 years from now, 20 years from now. But that's where we're going to from here. It's very, very clear that is taking place, because what we see is people will use the technology even if they're told not to. There's really viable use cases with elections or voting, with stablecoins, or with stability, with security or unhackability. Even in the face of the most recent computers. I mean, even if it, with quantum computing, if that ever does become a reality, all we have to do is just start a new chain. It's no big deal. There's use cases with immutability, which means you can't reverse the transaction. That's some huge value there. There's smart contracts, which is one of the most important and powerful use cases with cryptocurrencies. There's data storage, there's predictive markets or gambling, there's gaming, there's now developing some very serious competition for banks where they disintermediate the banks, where you can loan out your cryptocurrencies for 5, 10, 12, 18% per annum. It's incredible. So those are just some of the use cases, just to name a few. I mean, some important ones too are in the insurance industry or with the automotive industry with a chain referencing system. It goes on and on and on now. But we just got to be very, very careful with whatever new or even some of the old cryptocurrencies that have been there. It's human nature for people to manipulate or to scam because it has to do with money. Duh. And that's why I come right out front and say, look, I don't need it. Do I want it? I'm not saying I don't want it, but I don't need it. And I promise to you that I will do my best to research and provide something that is a good representation of reality that's going on, and then therefore it is honest global crypto news and info. I don't promote the overthrow of government. What I promote is just self-empowerment. Bitcoin came onto the market January 3rd, 2009. The first actual transaction, I think, was in 2010 in May, where there's 10,000 Bitcoins bought 2 Papa John's pizzas. And with a Bitcoin being $10,000, that means that those 2 pizzas cost $100 million. Now, we're not far from that $10,000 per Bitcoin figure right now. But, Bitcoin can't be shut down. It can't be shut down. What is happening and where we're going to from here is people have figured out how to design money. People have figured out how to make money. Through the centuries, we've had national currency, or currency that has a flag to it. The US dollar, the Chinese yuan, the Filipino peso, the Indian rupee, go on and on and on with, but now we have, since 2009, a people's currency, Bitcoin, and thousands of others. A couple weeks ago, Tunisia say they launched the first CBDC in the history of the world, the first central bank digital currency. Those are going to be coming out by the score. China says they're surprised that they weren't the first ones. They wanted to be the first ones. I think it won't be till the middle of next year. They say it's right around the corner, but China is going to come out with their own central bank digital currency. I think it was in September of 2019, it might have been August, but Mark Carney, the governor of the Bank of England, in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, at a meeting of central bankers, says, hey, I think the dollar is really losing its power as the world reserve currency. I think we should do one overseen by the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, pegged to 4 or 5 different currencies. And so this is where we're going to from here. But whether it's more power to the central banking currencies, there definitely will be more power in decentralized cryptocurrencies, and that's really what differentiates any of the digital currencies from any of the others. Is a cryptographic currency, meaning that it's not just a digital currency like the CBDCs. It's a decentralized people's kind of currency. So that is truly where we're going to from here. One of the biggest indicators of that is just all of the protests that are going on, most notably in Hong Kong and in France with the Yellow Vest movement. We're seeing more reports of that. We're seeing, and we hear of a lot of stuff going on in South America, Ecuador, Venezuela. We've seen through Zimbabwe with the printing of the $1 trillion bill. I think they may have even printed a $100 trillion bill. It's just ridiculous, the inflation. And, with the US dollar, they say, it's centralized in its power. I think there's 17 families or 17 different shareholders who no one really knows for sure. But that's the amount of people who control the US dollar. And very, very few people even know that. And they intentionally try to create this 2 to 3% inflation. That's what they say. But when you and I look at how much sugar is compared to a couple of years ago, or the price of shoes, or a hotel room, or corn, or even bottled water, or clothing, or all of these things that are prevalent, things that we need as staples in our economy, we see it's way over 2 to 3%. And the mainstream, lamestream, fake stream, CNLSD, propaganda press, everybody knows they're lying to us, or they're manipulating us, they're exaggerating, or telling us flat out lies. So that's why we see with the internet and with independent news reports that can be curated. That's what I do. That's my value proposal, is that I try to curate hundreds of different news sources. When I do that, what I see, what rises to the surface is something that's called consensus, where I can see several independent or contrarian different news sources that say the same thing, that opposes what we're seeing in the propaganda press. One thing I want to do for a moment is just to address all of you in the old school economy. If you're say a banker or a financial advisor or a real estate agent, or say you're a investor, or into artificial intelligence or cutting edge technology. So many of you are just saying Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are it's the next greatest fool theory. It has no intrinsic value. Well, we can start just embossing right on your forehead, FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. You guys are like old news. I mean, intrinsic value, what is that? There's no such thing as that. And even if you have something as intrinsic value as a reality, really, Bitcoin and cryptos, all they don't have to have value to you or to me or anybody. The only place it has to have value is in its own market. And the next greatest fool, there's millions upon millions of next greatest fools that are finding value in Bitcoin and cryptos. Even in places where the governments are saying, hey, don't use it or it's illegal, people are still using it. They are making a choice between switching their fiat into cryptos, meaning the difference between whether their children are well fed for that day or not. In every single case, they're going to go against what is legal and obfuscate that. They're going to do what's good to put food in the mouths of their children. That's what we're seeing all over the world. And those signals are signaling that is what's taking place here. Where to from here? We're going to independent currencies. We're going to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And there still will be fiats. I mean, I'm not saying, hey, give up on all of that, but really a greater slice of the market is going to independent currencies, people's currencies. And as time goes on and months and years go on, that's what we're going to be seeing. So what I really, really want, since I don't need the money, is just for you to like and subscribe and to make your own choice. Look, this is what I'm doing. This is what I believe is the truth. There's great value in the future of this technology. Make your own choice. I don't even promote that you go all in on it. I mean, there's great value in some of the current technologies, the fiat, the gold, silver, real estate, land, collectibles, artwork. But seriously, check out some of the different perspectives and contrarian thought. So many of you have your blinders on and you're thinking that this is something that is ridiculous. Well, it's turning out to be something that is to be reckoned with. Hashtag love all serve others. Thank you very much for listening. And again, please click on the blue planet there, like and subscribe. And until next time, peace.